it means to be as though you did not do anything wrong.
Kitegeeza nti obeera nga atalina kye yali akoze.
So because God has called you,
kubanga Katonda akuyise,
it doesn't matter what you're going through.
Tekirina kye kiri olw'ebyo by'oyitamu.
He has justified you. He has justified you. He has provided. He has said that I have chosen Prima despite all her flaws. Despite all her flaws. God has chosen you. And because He has called you, He has justified you. Because He has called you, because He has called you, He has justified you. He has justified you. And justification is for internal things. It's those things that make you feel unworthy. But because God has called you, because God has provided Himself a person worthy of that assignment, He has justified you. God does not count us the way men do. I'm going ahead of myself. And we'll finish this verse. Those whom He justified, He also glorified. God calls you, He justifies you, then He glorifies you. Don't you think it should actually be God first justifies me? In the normal human mind, don't we think God justifies, then He calls, then He glorifies? Isn't that what we think? But God calls you. He calls you first. Then He justifies you. Then He God has seen you. God has seen you. And then He called you. Then He justified you. And He has glorified you. Amen. Amen. Are you enjoying?
Oh yes. Yeah.
You know, it starts from the inside, right? Once you have that settled, you know we have many levels of excuses. You're like, okay, God. You have justified me. But I don't know how to talk well. You're like, okay. You have justified me. But I don't have money. Okay. You have justified me. But I'm single. There are certain outside things that we think disqualify us. There are things, there are outside things that we think disqualify us. I mean Moses was before a burning bush. Can you see God and make that sort of excuse? Before a burning bush. Let me give you an example. In order to do this week, the awakening, we just received a message. Actually, we received a table. We received a table on the elders group. Showing location and the person in charge. But that table had been sent by somebody. It had been sent by Apostle. Can we start saying, Apostle, I can't?
tosobola gamba nti bannange omutume sisobola.
I suspect if we had been consulted,
Ngamba nti singa baatubuuzaako
we would have many excuses.
twandibadde n'ebyekwaso nga
We would say Whkamwokya is far.
Whkamwokya wala nnyo.
As we live in Nakwero, guys,
Nakwero
we prefer Kabale.
atwagala Kabaale.
But because of the authority
naye olw'obwo
of the
obuvunaanyizibwa
person that sent the
obw'omuntu
instruction,
eyasindika
say,
ekiragiro
yes, sir,
twagamba bugambi
we
yes
shall do it.
tujja kukikola.
Now imagine Moses was before the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords,
teebereza Musa yali mu maaso ga kabaka w'abakabaka ne katonda
who
w'abakatonda
had shown up in a burning bush.
eyali alabise mu kasiko akaaka
Somebody please take care of these
tekazikira.
children. Somebody please take care. This is how, by the way, the enemy steals the word. You get distracted. So somebody take care of the children. So that
wabeewalabirira abaana bakakkane batuule kigambo kireme kuyitako.
yes. So Moses was before a burning bush.
Musa yali mu maaso g'akabira akaaka.
The King of Kings was talking.
ekisaka
A burning bush. And the King of Kings himself is saying, and imagine Moses, as we received the table on our WhatsApp group, and we said, of course. Now Moses was before the Chisaka. Chisaka nga chikuta omuliro. I stammer.
nagira.
And so because of that, we'll also have excuses.
olwekyo naffe tujja kubeera n'ebyekwaso.
Let's go to 1 Samuel 16 to
tugende mu
7.
Samwiri ekisooka 16:7.
2 to 7. 1 Samuel 16 2 to 7.
Samwiri ekisooka olunyiriro 16 essuula ey'okubiri.
And Samuel said, how can I go? Remember, God has provided himself a king, so Samuel is now the one mourning. And Samuel said,
Samwiri n'agamba,
let me read and then she'll read from that. How can I, let's read. Let me read and then she'll read from that. How can I, let's read. How can I go? If Saul hears it, he will kill me. But the Lord said, take a heifer with you and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Just hold on, just hold on. Okay, let's go to verse 4.
tugende ku lunyiriro lwokuna.
So Samuel did what the Lord said and went to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming and said, do you come peaceably? And he said, peaceably I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. Then he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. So it was when they came that he looked at Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or at his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Amen. In all those excuses,
mu byonna ebyo byekwaso,
you guys, God does not consider your outside things.
katonda tafaayo ku ebyo ebyebweru.
God does not consider that you didn't go to school.
tafaayo ba tewasoma.
God does not consider that you're single.
tafaayo oba oli sinjula.
God does not consider the personal weaknesses that you have.
tafaayo obuntuntu obutonotono bw'olina.
One of the people that I think is the greatest man of God
abantu abamu bemmanyi nti baddala basajja ba katonda
is Andrew Whkamwokya,
ye Andrew Whkamwokya,
one of the grandfathers of this house.
omu ku bajjajja b'ekifo kino.
I used to watch Andrew Whkamwokya when I was younger.
nalabanga omusajja oyo nga
Actually, I used not to watch him. I would see him and be like, what a boring man. Next.
namulabanga bulabi ne ayiba nnange omusajja nga bbowa n'akyusa.
He's not the most enthusiastic speaker.
Si ye musajja akuleetera essanyu mu
He has become more enthusiastic over the years.
afuuse
Or have I become more enthusiastic over the years? Andrew Whkamwokya is not really the most interesting of men.
Andrew Whkamwokya si ye muntu w'abo abakyamusa.
He doesn't speak like Barack Obama.
Tayogera nga Barack Obama.
You know when Barack Obama is giving a speech,
Barack Obama wabawa speech,
you believe that yes we can.
okkiriza noga
Even you here in Nakwero, you're like yes we can.
tusobola.
But where is Barack Obama's transformation, the one that's like Andrew Whkamwokya?
Eriwa esinga eya Andrew Whkamwokya.
God did not look at Andrew Whkamwokya and consider him according to his
Katonda
giftings.
teyatunulira Andrew Whkamwokya n'amutwalanga olw'ebyo byali.
He provided himself a man in our generation.
Ye yeteerawo omuntu mu mugendo gwaffe.
He gave him the revelation.
N'amuwa okubikkulirwa.
And all Andrew Whkamwokya has done is speak the
Era
revelation.
Andrew Whkamwokya kyakoze kwe kwogera
God does not consider men.
Katonda tatunuulira bantu.
The Lord does not see as man sees.
Talabanga muntu bw'alaba.
God does not see as man sees.
Katonda talabanga muntu bw'alaba.
God does not see as man sees.
Katonda talabanga muntu bw'alaba.
You know, when we think about man here,
Omanyi bw'olowooza ku muntu wano,
we are thinking about how other men see.
tulowooza ku bantu abalala bwe boonoona.
God does not consider even how you see yourself.
Katonda tatwalanga gwe bwe weeraba.
God does not see you the way you see
Katonda takulabanga gwe bwe weeraba.
God does not see you the way you see yourself.
Katonda takulabanga bwe weeraba.
He sees the other one whom he prepared works for.
Alaba oli omunene owakabi oli.
The one whose works were prepared for him to walk.
Oyo we yategekera ebintu okusobola okuba nti
That is the one that he sees.
Oyo ye gw'alaba.
God does not see as man sees.
Katonda talabanga muntu bw'alaba.
I had taken the thing
nali nakyetwalira.
that me I'm like that.
Nze ndi bwe ntyo.
If you meet my friends from high school,
bw'obuuza bakwano bange mu high school.
Secondary.
but God has called me in two things
Katonda ampise mu bintu
that have needed me to be extremely organized.
ebindeetedde okubeera nga ndi mu organized.
And I don't know how God has done it,
Simanyi Katonda bw'akikoze.
but he has done it. He has done it. He has done it.
Akikoze.
He has done it. Let me give you yes.
Akikoze.
So, my mother's house when we were growing up,
Ennyumba ya maama wange nga tukula.
my room was the most disorganized.
Ekisenge kyange kye kyabeeranga
She would actually just walk in
yayingiranga buyingizi
and say, "Are we going to grow beans here?"
n'agamba ne tugenda kugira wano lujanjaalo kiki.
I was so disorganized. I was not dirty, I was disorganized.
Nali mukyankalamu.
I was quite disorganized.
Nali mukyankalamu n'okusukkawo.
Last week,
Wiiki ewedde
they were talking to Maritz
baali boogera ku bafu
that he needs for the assignment.
olw'ekyo kigendererwa kye.
I'm a pastor.
Ndi musumba.
People must come to my home and feel
Abantu
welcome.
balina okujja ewange ne bawulira emirembe.
My home must be enough for people to feel love.
Ennyumba yange erina okuba ng'emala abantu okuba nga babeera.
So it should not be the other one of my mom's home.
Zerina kubeera eri eya maama wange bambi.
So God is able to transform those things that you're worried about
Katonda asobola okukyusa ebyo ebintu bye
in
weeraliikirira.
order to turn you into the person
Okusobola okukyusa omuntu
who is specific to that assignment.
oyo yennyini ateekeddwa okukola ekyo Mukama
God is going to,
ky'ategese.
don't worry about those things.
Teweeraliikirire olw'ebintu ebyo.
If you're not the most enthusiastic speaker,
Bw'oba nga si gwe muntu azza akyamusa abantu,
but God has given you
naye
revelation,
nga Katonda akuwadde okubikkulirwa Yokaana,
and perceive that they were uneducated and untrained men,
ate ne bamanya nti nno tebaasoma ate tebaatendekebwa,
they marveled
ne batya ne beewuunya
and they realized
ne ne bakizuula
that they had been with Jesus.
nti baali ne Yesu.
Do you know what an uneducated but also untrained man looks like?
Omanyi omuntu ataasomako ate nga teyatendekebwa bw'afaanana.
We have seen some uneducated and untrained men
Tulabyeko
this
ku bantu
week.
nga tebaasoma ate nga tebaatendekebwa.
But when they saw these ones,
naye bwe baalaba bano
they marveled
beewuunya
and they realized that the difference maker for these men
era ne bakitegeera nti waliwo ekyenjawulo
is that they had been with Jesus.
nti abantu bano ekyenjawulo ekibaliko nti
Whatever you're worried
Yesu.
about,
Kyonna kye weeraliikiriddeko
just be with Jesus.
beera ne Yesu.
Just be with Jesus.
Beera ne Yesu.
Whatever you're worried about,
Kyonna kye weeraliikiriddeko
whatever situation,
osobola okukyusa
into a person that people will marvel
ku
at.
muntu abantu gwe bajja
People
otunuulira
marveled
Mukama gwe.
at uneducated
Abantu batya
and untrained.
eri omuntu ataasoma
And one of the
business.
things that we used to do
Era